over halfway through now, kind of just assess the offense through their practices?
I think that chance to really do some good things. I think the key is, like, we've got a lot of guys make competitive plays, and that's, offensively, we talk about all the time, like, explosive plays in games. And we've done a good job in explosives. One thing I talk to them about all the time, like, we got to eliminate the negative plays, you know what I mean? So, like, at times we have, like, really big plays and a negative play, So we got to do a great job of eliminating negative plays. But I do think we've been pretty explosive as a unit, and they give you a chance to win. So we're probably further along than I figured we would be, just like from an install standpoint, knowing what we're doing. I think part of that's a credit to the type of unit we have. We have, intelligent guys, and so they're doing a good job picking it up. They know what they're doing, and if you know what you're doing and go execute, you give yourself a chance. And so there's a lot of things you got to do better. There's a lot of, like, I think details and some easy coaching things that we got to do and clean some things up. From an overall perspective, like I said, I think we're quite further along than I was expecting at this point.
The last time we saw Dion Burks, he was being carted off the field in a game. How's he look? I assume he looks healthy because he's out here running around, but he's going to be a guy that's probably an impactful guy in that receiving room.
Yeah, talking about explosive plays, he's an explosive guy, and I think he's as explosive as anyone, physically explosive as anyone on the team from a, changing direction, from a running standpoint. And probably our last two practices has been his best two practices, and that's been great to see, And I think part of that's just getting more and more comfortable in what we're doing, and he's so fast and so explosive. Sometimes, early on we had to talk to him about, like, the rushing thing, just understand what we're trying to do, and, like, you don't have to get there like crazy fast. We need you to get there when the quarterback wants you there, And so I think he's getting more and more comfortable with it and understanding timing better, and he's done a great job taking coaching. And like I said, I think his last two practices, so Tuesday and today, probably the best two practices he's had all spring, and I expect that to continue. And he's been really, really explosive these past 2 days, and so made big plays, made some big time catches down the field, running good routes, and like I said, I think he's getting more and more comfortable with what we're doing, and you're seeing the results of it out here on the field.
What were some of your takeaways from Saturday's scrimmage?
Again, I think Saturday we did some things that made you feel like we got a chance to really score a lot of points and be a good unit. But there's still just so much to clean up, and that's the encouraging thing is we've done some good things, and we've moved the ball at times, and I think we're just scratching the surface of where we can be as an offense, and the more and more comfortable we get, the more and more reps we get together, I think the better we'll be. And like I said, excited. This time's a fun time. I think anytime you get a chance to be out here and practice, it's the best time of year. And so I wish spring could go forever, or spring could go till fall, and it'd be fun to do. But like I said, we still got about half a spring to go, and we got to continue to progress if we want to get to where I think we can be.
Has Hudson Clark been everything you thought he was going to be?
Yeah, he's been pretty special. He's been really, really good, and I think when obviously knew of him coming out of high school, and then when we started recruiting him, watched like every throw he made. Every throw he had at the University of Texas, and you saw some things that were pretty impressive, and so you're like, man, yeah, he's really got a chance. And so, but he's been way better than I thought he'd be, especially this early. He's an elite thrower of the football, and then he's really athletic. But what's been most encouraging is, because you can see a lot of that on tape, but just how quick he's going to pick things up, how quick he processes, the way he sees the game from a standpoint like pre-snap, like he's seeing what you want him to see, and he's making decisions you want him to make, or we want him to make. And I think part of it is he's a really, really good fit for what we do, and I think that maybe because of that, like schematically what we do, I think really fits his skill set really well, and so you see success really early on because, like I said, he's a great fit for what we're trying to do. He's out here playing confidently, he's having fun, and you're seeing the results of it every day.
Brady Allen, are you confident Brady being the number 2 guy?
We've got really there's been 4 guys getting a ton of reps, and I think that especially after spring going into camp, we'll get to the point where you feel really comfortable playing any of them, to be honest with you. I think that, like I said, they're progressing. They haven't played near as much football. The other three haven't played near as much football as Hudson. And so, like, you can see that at times, like the lack of experience. But I do think, like I said, we'll get to the point where you can put it in the forehand and expect to move the football and expect to go score points, you know. My philosophy on quarterbacks has always been like, we're not trying to create a robot, you know what I mean? Like, they're not all going to look the same. They're not all going to be cookie cutter to themselves. And we got to do the best job we can of putting those guys in position to be successful, you know. And so, if Hudson were in the game and then Brady were in the game, it wouldn't look the exact same because they're two very different people. But that's okay, you know. I think throughout my career, I've had some really good quarterbacks. You know, if you go with Mason Fine, JT, Keaton, and then Jackson Dart, Garrett Green last year. Like, you put all five of those guys out there, like, those are five very, very different players that have all had success doing things. But I think it's our job as a coaching staff that whoever's on the field, get them in the best position to be successful and what fits their skill set. And so, like I said, I don't think like necessarily it would always look the exact same if those guys were on the field. But I think we'll get to the point where you put any of those four guys on the field, then we can move the ball and play at a high level offensively.
Can you evaluate the other two guys, not Brady and not Hudson?
The ones that have got the reps the most is Ryan, and then we've had Hudson go, we've had Kyle go, Ryan go, and then Brady go, obviously. You know what I mean? And so Ryan and Brady are both kind of bigger, longer guys that probably skill sets are a little more similar, and then Kyle just kind of has a bit of he's just kind of savvy and has just a little something to him that people can rally around and can move the ball. Pretty athletic kid, can throw it, but probably relies on his feet more than any of the other three guys, you know. And so, again, you have three very different people, or four very different people that execute differently, but all are doing good things. And so, that's, like I said, I think that the cool part about spring is you kind of figure out what each of them do well, and like the best example I can give you is at my last year at SC, we had Slovis and Dart kind of going back and forth at times because both of them kind of got banged up, and what we called was very different for those two because one, they were in much different places from like an understanding standpoint and a skill set, what they were comfortable with. But both of them, I think, can be really special at times. And so I think it's the same thing with these guys. We got to figure out what they do well, what plays they really can execute at a high level and see well. And if we were to go play with those guys, get them in those plays.
From an offensive line standpoint, how much of a adjustment have you guys made? I know different air raid systems do different things. Some going for really wide splits between the linemen. Where have you guys landed on that aspect?
With the offensive line, we're not as wide as I used to be. Like when I was a player, we'd be like felt like sideline to sideline out there. But we may be a little wider than most. But I think that with that offensive line, and we've kind of mixed up. We've put them in different spots and tried to put up different lineups out there, partially to get a bunch of different people reps at a bunch of different positions. So because at that position, there's gonna be times where guys go down, or you're gonna have to mix up the lineups. And I think that at that position, the more comfortable you get with the guy next to you, the better you're gonna be, obviously. And if we can get those five guys playing kind of as one, you really got a chance. And so we're trying to mix up who we put where, and so we get comfortable with different lineups and see where each guy does well. And hopefully, if anything were to happen during the season, we got reps with different guys with each other. And so we that's kind of an everyday evolving position with who's healthy, with who's out there. And so that position continues to evolve, and the goal is going to be to find the five best guys and put them out there and get them really comfortable with each other to let them go play.
Do you have a guy when the pocket breaks down that, like a Michael Crabtree, you can just throw the ball and realize that guy's going to go make a play on it and give you a chance to get a first down or move the chains?
Yeah, Crabtree was pretty special, but
obviously not the same comparison, but a guy that can.
Like I said, I think that as a receiver core as a whole, they're different. They're very different skill sets, but it's fun at times because, like I said, you don't kind of like equivalent position. You don't want them all to be the exact same in that position, and so. I think that'd be a better question for the quarterback. Like, hey, if things break down, who are you going to throw it up to? but I do think that we have a bunch of people playing pretty well and that are making plays. You know, Abdur's been super consistent. He's probably the technician of the crew as far as route running and stuff like that. Elijah has been good as well and really shifty, especially to be as big as he is and as big and as long as he is. Deion's explosive. TJ's been great. Marshawn's been, you know, Marshawn's a big body, and you know, from the Crabtree standpoint, Crabtree was a bigger body, strong, and it's just hard for little DBs, like, even if they're not real open, to cover big bodies, you know. And he's made some plays where he may not be like really open, where they've given him a chance to make a play. And you know, Coach Leach always talks about football is the one place where, like, it's still okay for big people to beat up small people. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like Marshawn's game, I think, at times. And so that's been great to see as well. And really across the board, like, I feel comfortable throwing to most of those guys in a big situation. If we're to break down, just throw it up, I'd be interested to know, like, you should ask the quarterbacks who they're going to throw it up to, because I don't know who they'll throw it up to.